cooking cronies. Today I'm going to make a lighter version of eggplant parmesan. Eggplant parmesan is one of my favorite go-to dishes when I visit an Italian restaurant. So I'm going to give it a try today, but a lighter version of it. So it calls for 3/4 cups of breadcrumbs, 1 tablespoon of grated Parm cheese, 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, 2 eggs beaten, 2 medium eggplants peeled and cut into 1/4 inch slices, 1 3/4 cups of tomato and basil sauce. I substituted that today because I didn't have pre-made spaghetti sauce of any type, so I just used a can of crushed tomatoes and threw some basil in there with some salt and pepper and cooked that on my stove. So that's what I'm using today. So it does call for 1 3/4 cups of the tomato and basil sauce and 1 cup of shredded mozzarella cheese. I have pre-measured, pre-sliced, pre-beaten all the ingredients. So we're going to get started with just putting it together. I've also preheated my oven to 400 degrees. So let's get started. Okay, to the breadcrumbs, I'm going to add the Parmesan cheese and the oregano. I'm going to mix this together just to incorporate it. So one bite won't have all the oregano on it. It's a little daunting sometimes. I like oregano, but not in a mouthful. Okay, so this looks pretty good. And because my eggplants were a little larger than medium, I may have to add another measurement of the eggplant mixture and the egg mixture, but we're going to start with what the recipe calls for. So here's the egg that I've beaten. This is 2 eggs. These eggs come from my dad's hens. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water to this mixture. So 1, 2. All right, and then I'm going to just mix it a little bit more just to incorporate the egg with the water. I have a large cookie sheet that I have lined with foil and sprayed with cooking spray. My cooking spray of choice is Pam. All right, that looks good as well. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dredge the eggplant. First I'm going to put it in the egg mixture and then the breadcrumbs, and then I'm going to place it on the cookie sheet. So let's move this closer. Okay, so with my fingers I'm just going to dredge it and then coat it and set it on the baking sheet. Okay, this was plenty. I still have just a little bit of breadcrumbs and 1 sliced eggplant left, so I'm going to dredge this last one and try to find room on this cookie sheet for it. It's not going to lay flat, but that's okay. So I'm going to put these in the oven now. I preheated my oven, like I said. So I'm going to place them in the oven now, and I'm going to bake them for 30 minutes, but halfway through I'm going to turn them. So here they go into the oven. Okay, setting my timer for 15 minutes, and then I'll turn the eggplant around and set it for another 15. Okay, I'm going to clean up my mess and I'll be back. Okay, I hear my timer, so I'm going to put the eggplant on top of my stove while I turn it. And then we'll bake them for another 15 minutes once I've got them all turned. So let me adjust this a little bit. Flip them all. Oh, they're almost like chips. Well, no, I guess just some that got a little slightly thinner than the others. So let's get them all turned. Okay, so I have them all turned. I'm going to return them to the oven for another 15 minutes. You see, they are kind of golden. Regular eggplant, you deep fry it, but this is healthier, as I said. All right, I'm going to set my timer for another 15 minutes. And we'll be back when they're done. Okay, the timer went off. Turn off the timer. I'm going to leave the oven on because I'm going to bake the eggplant parmesan and show you how to put it all together. So, okay, I have a 9x9 dish here that I am going to start my eggplant parmesan layers with. So, push this over so we can get it all in. I'm going to start with 3/4 of a cup of the tomato basil sauce, and I'm just going to pour it in. Use a spoon here to spread it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to spread this on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to layer. I'm going to put the eggplant parmesan onto the bottom of this 9x9. I'm going to overlap it since there's so many eggplants, and I love it, so I never get enough eggplant. Okay, so I'm going to add some of the, oh, I better add some more sauce first. So I've sprinkled some of the sauce over the eggplant. Just going to try to move it around a little bit. And then I'm going to sprinkle the mozzarella over the sauce. And it's about 1/2 cup that I'm sprinkling here. Okay. And I'm going to put the next layer of the eggplant on top. Start at the other end this time. And just cover that sauce underneath. It's only going to make 2 layers. And again, I'm overlapping just because I have some eggplant still in on the cookie sheet. And I don't want anything to go to waste. And the final row. I'm just going to add eggplant here and there just to use it all. This one's a little brown, so I'm not going to add that. I'm just going to eat it. Oh my gosh. I could just eat that like that. We can just have eggplant chips. Okay, I'm going to pour the rest of the sauce over this. And again, you can use the store-bought sauce. I just didn't have any on hand, so just some crushed tomatoes with some basil, and I cooked it over the stove for a little bit. Okay, now I'm just smoothing this over. I'm sure as it heats, it's going to spread itself. So I'm going to add the rest of the cheese on the top. So I'm going to cover it with some foil, and then I'm going to uncover it and bake it for an additional 15 minutes. All right, into the oven it goes for 30 minutes. Okay, I'll set the timer. Okay, it's been 30 minutes, so I'm going to remove the foil and then put it back in the oven for another 15 minutes. You see how good that looks? Close it. And set the timer for 15 minutes. Okay, almost done. Okay, the eggplant parmesan is ready. Look at that. Yum. Gosh, it looks delicious. Delicious. This is going to be my go-to eggplant recipe from now on. So subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. We're glad that you joined us today. Hope you enjoy the recipe. Have a wonderful day and God bless.